Hello children, welcome to this English teleteaching program. Today we will discuss the last part of adjectives, the third part of adjectives, and we will start with our general knowledge. Before that, let's recap the previous sessions, two grammar sessions about adjectives, and then we will start our grammar. You just look at the screen and you see two persons, the images of two persons, and one is the richest person in India and another is the richest person in the world. You just see this, then we will start after our recapitulation from these two pictures, right? So let's remind and remember whatever we have discussed in our previous grammar sessions. Again, I repeat the same thing. We have discussed adjectives are a class of words. They are used as elements in sentences. They have different positions. They have attributive, predicative, and postpositive positions or places. And adjectives of post-positioned situations, they give different types of meanings. The same adjective can give different type of meanings, right? And we have also discussed nouns can also be used as adjectives and they are called classifiers. And in the last session, we discussed the order of adjectives. When we use many adjectives in one noun phrase, the opinion adjectives they come first, then we use the adjectives of size, then physical quality, then age, then shape, then color, place of origin, materials, purpose. And we also discussed how we can use comma or the conjunction and for the adjectives. When we have two colors, when we use adjectives of two colors, we use and when we have many adjectives after link verbs, we use comma and, right? So, my dear children, let's go to discuss the new things. You just see the chart. You have already watched you have seen the richest portions of the country and the world. Based on the data of March 1st, 2021, I have listed here 5 richest persons of the world. So when we read grammar, we should also know some general knowledge, right? We should enrich our general knowledge, we should improve our general knowledge. So 5 persons you see, their names: Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bernard Arnold and family, Bill Gates. You know Bill Gates, once he was the richest person in the world. Now he occupies the 4th place and he has invested his money on Microsoft, you just see. Then Warren Buffett. So these are 5 richest persons in the world, and you will be also surprised to see their wealth. Jeff Bezos says total wealth is 182 billions. Billion means 1 billion is 1 crore. Sorry, 100 crore, right? 100 କୋଟି 182 ଗୁଣନ 100, ତାର ଅର୍ଥ ପୃଥିବୀର ଯିଏ ସବୁଠୁ ବଡ଼ ଧନୀ ତା ପାଖରେ 182 ଗୁଣନ 100, ତା ଅର୍ଥ 182 କୋଟି ଟଙ୍କାର ସେ ମାଲିକ, right? So now you come to, so you just see the richest people in the world. So rich is the adjective, richest is another form, and we will today discuss different forms of adjectives, right? Now you see, this is chart about the richest persons in our country, India. 5 richest persons. Mukesh Ambani occupies the top place, right? And his wealth is 88.7 billion. ପ୍ରାୟ 89,100 ଟଙ୍କା 100 crores ହେଉଛି 1 billion. So 88.7 into 100, right? And he has invested this money in many types of business. So then Gautam Adani you just see 25.2, Shiva Nader, then Radhakrishna Dhamani, then Hinduja brothers, right? So these are the 5 richest persons in our country. So these are the pictures you just see, 10 pictures, 10 richest persons of India. Let's begin the richest, the how the form is used. Let us start our grammar, the new ideas, that is degree of comparison, right? Adjectives, degrees of comparison. When we compare, how we can use the different forms of adjectives as we used for the wealthiest person, the richest persons, the 5 richest persons, the 10 richest persons, like this, right? You just see how we can compare people or things for some of their qualities or characteristics. Now you look at the pictures of 3 girls. One is tall, simple tall, another is taller, means taଠୁ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଡେଙ୍ଗା, ଆଉ ସବୁଠୁ ଡେଙ୍ଗା ଯିଏ tallest. So tall, taller, tallest. These are 3 degrees of adjectives: positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. And we say degrees of comparison. When we compare people or things or qualities, we use the degrees of comparison or different forms of adjectives. आमे adjective रो बा विशेषण पदर विभिन्न रूप आमे व्यवहार करू, right? So you just see the example. There are 2 girls, one is tall, another is taller than that. So Sita is a tall girl and Lata is taller than, out getting. So Lata is taller than Sita. So when we compare 2 persons, we use taller. And when we talk about 1 person, we can say tall. Sita is a tall girl and Lata is also a tall girl, but Lata is taller than Sita, right? Now you see, Lata is taller than her 3 sisters, right? There are 4 girls. ସେମାନେ 4 ଭଉଣୀ, Lata ସବୁଠୁ ହେଉଛି tallest, right? So Lata is taller than her 3 sisters, and Lata is taller than all her sisters, we can say, right? So how we compare people or things for some of their qualities or characteristics? Lata is taller than Sita. Lata is compared with another girl for tallness using the comparative degree. In comparatives, we usually add er to the adjectives and use then after it. So mind your students, this is very, very important. When we have comparisons, when we compare someone with another people or another person, we use the comparative degree of adjective by adding er to the adjective. So tall is the adjective and add er, that becomes taller, and Lata is taller than all her sisters, right? So now you see, if I say Lata is taller than all her sisters, I can use also tallest. Lata is the tallest of all the children in her class. Lata ta class रे जते पिला छन समस्त टेंगा से, he is the tallest of all. So the form is here, the is used before the superlative degree and est is added to the adjective. Tall is the adjective and we say tallest. 2 जनक भितर कंपेयर कला बेले taller बा के जनक भितर कंपेयर कला बेले आमे taller व्यवहार करूचे, किन जेतेबेले आमे ताकू कहूचे सबुठू से बड़ डेंगा मोटा, we use the superlative degree as it is used here. Lata is the tallest of all children in her class, right? So Lata is the tallest of all 4 sisters. Here just you see, Lata is compared to a group of persons which she belongs to and is found to have the quality of the highest, that means superlative order. This is called the superlative degree. we usually add est to the adjective and the before the superlative degree. So when आमे जेतेबेले गोटे ग्रुप रे आमे तुलना करिया जनकु सबुठु भलो बोली भाबिबा बा डेंगा बोली भाबिबा सेतबेले आमे ताकु सुपरलेटिव डिग्री एडजेक्टिव व्यवहार करिबा एडजेक्टिव रे est बसेइबा एवं ता पूर्वरु दटिए लगेइबा. So we usually add est to the adjective and we change the form and we also use the before the superlative adjective. Right. Now you see I have given some adjectives. You can find some examples also here. We make comparative and superlative forms of adjectives in the following ways. The superlative degree is preceded by the definite article the. सबुबले मु कहिछि सुपरलेटिव डिग्री जेतले आमे बसेबा एबे कहले डिस्कशन कले जे सेतबे आमे एडजेक्टिव पूर्वरु गोटे डॉट लगेबा. देखो पिले strong, chief, great, safe, tall, cold, these are the adjectives. The comparative degree is stronger, taller, cheaper, colder. And the superlatives is strongest, tallest, cheapest, coldest. So strong, stronger, strongest, cheap, cheaper, cheapest, great, greater, greatest, cold, colder, coldest, like this. And you see the example, last two sentences. Steel is stronger than wood. आमे दुईटा जिनस भितर जेते कंपेयर करूचे काठ आउ स्टील ता भितर स्टील इज स्ट्रॉन्गर सो ईआर इज एडेड हियर. एवरेस्ट इज द टॉलेस्ट माउंटेन इन द वर्ल्ड. पृथ्वी रे जेते माउंटेन अछि ता भितर सी होछि सबुठु डेंगा. तेणु जेते आमे ग्रुप रे बा समस्त भितर आमे जेते तुलना करके कहूचे आमे वी कैन यूज द सुपरलेटिव डिग्री और द हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर डिग्री ऑफ एडजेक्टिव. एवरेस्ट इज द टॉलेस्ट माउंटेन इन द वर्ल्ड. नाउ यू सी देयर आर सम एडजेक्टिव्स. My dear children, this is very important. Most of the time we go wrong, we make mistakes. केमिति ना केते गुडे लंबा एडजेक्टिव अछि जोथरे कि आमे ताकू er लगेई परिबानी, आमे est लगेई परिबानी, ता पूर्वरु आमे मोर आउ मोस्ट लगेइबा. देखो एठी गोटे एडजेक्टिव अछि ब्यूटीफुल. ब्यूटीफुल दुईटा माने ब्यूटीफुल ब्यूटीफुल गोटे वर्ड से किंतु लंबा शब्द. एडजेक्टिव टा गोटे लंबा शब्द अछि. तेणु तापूर्व जिते लंबा एडजेक्टिव रही आमे ता पूर्व मोर लगेबा ता मोस्ट लगेबा. सो शेफाली इज मोर ब्यूटीफुल दैन अनिता. वी कंपेयर शेफाली एंड अनिता एंड शेफाली इज मोर ब्यूटीफुल. वी कैन नॉट से ब्यूटीफुलर, वी शुड से मोर ब्यूटीफुल. वी कैन नॉट से ब्यूटीफुलस्ट, वी कैन से मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल लाइक दिस. सो जिते लंबा एडजेक्टिव रहिबो सेतेबेले साधारणतः आमे er बा est न जोड़ी आमे ता पूर्वरु मोर बा मोस्ट लगेबा. तेंदुलकर इज द मोस्ट फेमस क्रिकेटर ऑफ इंडिया. यू सी राइट. देन एडजेक्टिव्स एंडिंग इन ए कंसोनेंट y. किछि एडजेक्टिव अछि. देयर आर सम एडजेक्टिव्स लाइक हेवी, डर्टी, इजी, फनी एंड दे एंड इन y, right? And before that we can get a consonant. And what happens? Y will be dropped, IER will be added. आमे ER जो लगाउथिले जोटी Y थिबो ता पूर्व जदि consonant थिबो ताले IER लगेबा. जेमति हेवी HEAVY Y अछि लास्ट को, V टा होउची तार पूर्व अक्षर, सेटा होउची consonant. तेबे आमे कोन करिबा जेतोले कंपैरेटिव करिबा आमे Y टा को काटी दबा एवं IER लगेइ दबा. सो हेवी हेवियर, डर्टी डर्टियर, इजी इजियर. So Y will be removed and IER. So a car is heavier than bike and exactly heaviest y kotiki est lagi jibo, right? So a car is heavier than a bike. Ashok is the funniest boy in our class, right? Now you see there are some irregular adjectives like good, bad, far, and the comparatives better, worse, farther, superlative degrees of west, worst, farthest, like this. And you see the examples. Rani is better than her brother. This is the best thing I can do. My health is worse than earlier. Your performance was the worst this time. So better is the comparative degree of adjective, good, better. Then is the best, good, better, best. And bad, worse. So my health is worse than earlier. आगो अपेक्षा बेसी खराब हो जाइछि. So bad रो comparative होछि worse. एवं तार superlative होछि worst. Your performance was the worst this time, right? So now you see there are some adjectives. When we compare, we use as as plus adjective plus as. You just see. We may compare two persons or things having equal characteristics, equal quality. Bibu is fat, Sudhir is equally fat. ଦି ଜଣ ଯାକ ଏକା ମୋଟା ଆମେ ସେଠି କହିବା ଯେ ବିଭୁ ଇଜ୍ ଆଜ୍ ଫ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଆଜ୍ ସୁଧୀର, ବିଭୁ ଇଜ୍ ଆଜ୍ ଟଲ୍ ଆଜ୍ ସୁଧୀର, ବିଭୁ ଇଜ୍ ଆଜ୍ ଇଣ୍ଟେଲିଜେଣ୍ଟ ଆଜ୍ ସୁଧୀର. So as plus adjective plus as. You just see next example. This bag is big. That bag is also equally big. ଦିଟା ବ୍ୟାଗ୍ ଅଛି, ଦିଟା ବଡ଼ ଏକା ବଢ଼ିଆ. ସେଠି ଆମେ କରିବା this bag is as big as that. So my dear children, this is also another way using as and so as to compare the equals. Right? You just see. For negative comparisons, Raja is tall, Subodh is not tall like Raja. Raja hochi denga, kintu Subodh ta bhali nu. So in this case we can use Subodh is not as tall as Raja. Right? Subodh is not so tall as Raja. So is not as tall as Raja and is not so tall as Raja. So when we compare we use adjectives for negative comparisons, we say not as tall as, not plus as plus adjective plus as, or not plus so plus adjective plus as. Right? So now you come to double comparative. When we have some situations and these situations are changing situations, the process is changing, something is changing, in that situation we can use double comparative degree of adjectives. You just see, I am getting fatter and fatter, gradually he is getting taller and taller, se dhire dhire denga hei chalichi, se mota hochi. So dita comparative degree ro same adjective ame ବ୍ୟବହାର କରି परिबा. The evening is becoming or became darker and darker. Right? She looks more and more beautiful day by day, more and more beautiful. आमे जानि छे beautiful होच गोटे longer adjective, ता पूर्व आमे beautiful लगे परिबानी, more and more लगेबा, तेनु एठी कंटिन्यू करूची गोटे प्रोसेस, चेंजिंग प्रोसेस. So she looks more and more beautiful, दिनकु दिन से सुंदर देखा जाउची. So in the above sentences we intend to say that something is or was changing or is or was in a process of change. Change होची किंबा change process रे अछि. So we repeat the comparative degrees of adjectives. Right? So my dear children, we discussed many things. Let's do one activity. Complete the passage using adjectives in their appropriate degrees. There are many schools in Bhubaneswar. You get a within bracket wide choice of schools there than in many other cities. The capital secondary school is the within bracket famous one because it has the dash pass rate high. So besides it is within bracket old school in the city and has produced many great scholars. So we have to use the appropriate degrees of the adjectives which are there in brackets. Right? But the Ekamra secondary school is within bracket big and dash within bracket modern. It has a hostel with large rooms, right? Then most hostels have, and it is within bracket comfortable to live in. However, the school is dash within bracket expensive and only the rich people prefer this school. So my dear children, again you look at this paragraph, the last paragraph of this passage. Vidya Bharati school is considered to be the dash of all schools, popular. It gives within bracket good results than most other schools, although it is less expensive. Its disadvantage is that it has within bracket small campus and is located in a dash place. The school building looks dash within bracket old than it actually is, as it is not properly maintained. Children of dash means poor families prefer this school as the fees are the within bracket low in the city. So let's go to the answers. You just see, there are many schools in Bhubaneswar. You get a wider choice of schools there than in many other cities. Wider comparative degree because than is there. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଧ୍ୟାନ ଲାଗିଛି ଯେ ଗୋଟେ କମ୍ପେୟାର କରାହେଇଛି ସୋ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ଏବଂ ଅଦର ସିଟି ଭିତରେ ଥିବା ସ୍କୁଲ ଗୁଡ଼ା କମ୍ପେୟାର କରାହେଇଛି ସୋ ୱାଇଡର ଚଏସ୍ ରାଇଟ୍ ଦି କ୍ୟାପିଟାଲ ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ସ୍କୁଲ ଇଜ୍ ଦ ଇଜ୍ ଦେୟାର and when we have the definitely the adjective will be in the superlative degree form. So most famous I have already told you famous is a longer adjective long adjective and when we change we can say more or most famous and here the superlative degree is more appropriate most appropriate that's why most famous one because it has the highest pass rate highest you see right. So besides it is the oldest school in the city and has produced many great scholars. So my dear children from this paragraph we know that whenever we have than we can use the comparative degree, when we have the then the next place is the superlative degree form of the adjective should be used right. Then come to the next, but a Camera secondary school is bigger and moderner. You shall see bigger and moderner compare करा जाइए. It has a hostel with larger rooms than most hostels. Larger rooms than is there. That's why comparative degree. It is more comfortable to live in. Compare. Right. So however the school is more expensive and only rich people prefer this school. So the last paragraph, Vidya Bharati school is considered to be the most popular of all schools. It gives better results than most other schools although it is less expensive. Its disadvantages is that it has a small campus and is located in a noisy place. The school building looks older than, so than is there, right? It actually is as it is not properly maintained. Children of poor families prefer this school as the fees are the lowest in the city, the lowest. So superlative degree of adjective, right? So my dear children, I think you understand the degrees of adjectives, how we can use the comparative degree and the superlative degree of adjectives in different forms, right? So my dear children, let's go to the next activity, activity number 7 in your textbook, right? Look at the screen. Complete the sentences using the adjectives given in brackets to show that something is changing. One has been done for you as an example. So how can we use adjectives in changing situations? This activity can help us to use the adjectives, right? So you please listen to me for the questions first, then we will discuss the answers, right? Your shirt is becoming dirtier and dirtier. The first example has been given. Your shirt is becoming dirtier and dirtier, changing situation, right? The baby dash, the day dash, in winter days become dash, the place dash, the garden dash. So we have some adjectives in brackets: dirty, tall, bright, short, crowded, beautiful. We have to select the adjectives and we have to complete the sentence. Let's go to the answer. You just see your shirt is becoming dirtier and dirtier, right? The baby is getting taller and taller. दिनकु दिन से डेंगा होउछि. Situation is changing. His physical appearance is changing. The day is becoming brighter and brighter, right? So bright is the adjective and we can use double comparative degree of adjectives, right? We can repeat that same adjective in comparison by in the comparative degree. In winter, days become shorter and shorter. The place became more and more crowded. ଜାଗାଟା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ଗହଳିଆ ହେଲା, ଗହଳିପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ହେଲା. The garden looks more and more beautiful, right? So my dear children, so when we have changing situations, we have something that changes from time to time, we can use this type of form of the adjectives, right? As we did in this activity number 7. Let's go to the next activity. Activity number 8. Complete the following sentences adding a second part to it using the adjectives and verbs given in brackets. One has been done for you. The first one has been done. The older you are, the weaker you become. So weak, become. You just see, verb is there, weak is the adjective, become is the verb. And we can complete the sentence by using the older you are, the weaker you become. The higher the sun goes, the adjective is hot and the verb is be. We will see, right? The deeper you dig, the adjective is warm and the verb is feel. The faster you walk, adjective is early, right? And reach is the verb. The more you study, more is the adjective and learn is the verb. The better you dress, smart is the adjective, look is the verb, right? So let's go to the answers. You just see, the older you are, the weaker you become. The higher the sun goes, the hotter it is. So my dear children, you just see, we have to, in this type of situations, in the changing situations, we have to use the comparative degree. That means the higher you are changing the place, the higher the sun goes. The sun is changing its place and the adjective form will be in comparative form, right? The deeper you dig, the warmer you feel. You just see, the warmer is the comparative degree of the adjective warm. The faster you walk, the earlier you can reach, early the adjective and the comparative degree is earlier. The more you study, the more you learn, more is the adjective and more and more. The better you dress, the smarter you look. Smart, smarter, smartest, right? So, now we have discussed many things. Let's conclude the adjectives chapter. What we have discussed in all three sessions, in all the three parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, right? I am just going to repeat the same thing what we have done in recapitulation and in our conclusions of all the sessions. We have discussed adjectives. In the first chapter of the grammar book, parts of a sentence we have discussed. There are different word classes. Adjective is a class of words. And when adjectives are used in the sentences, they are called elements of the sentence, because there are different types of elements which are used in the sentence. And we have discussed adjective phrases in the noun phrase. And we have discussed position of adjectives as attributive position, predicative position, and in both positions how adjectives are used. And adjectives are used also in the post positioned situations like after the head nouns. And we have also discussed the adjectives when they are used as post positive adjectives or post positioned adjectives, they give different types of meanings. And nouns can also be used as adjectives, they are called classifiers. And we, in the second session, we discussed the order of adjectives. There are different types of adjectives when we use many adjectives, more than one adjectives in one noun phrase. We should be very much careful for the order. So we should use the opinion adjectives first. आमे जहाँ देखु जहाँ भावु जहाँ अनुभव करू सेटा आमे आगो लिखिबा opinion adjectives. तापरे आमे साधारणतः साइज रा देखा जाए बड़ो कि छोटो कि कोन, तापरे क्वालिटी देखा जाए फिजिकल क्वालिटी केमती देखा जाए, then age, shape, color, place of origin, materials, purpose. So once again I repeat the order: opinion adjectives first, then size, physical quality, then age, then shape, color, then place of origin, materials, purpose. And we have also discussed how to use commas when we have same adjectives of same color, suppose black, white, like this color adjectives, we can use and. And if we have many adjectives after be verbs, we can also use comma and the conjunction. And in this session we discussed the degrees of adjectives, positive, comparative and superlative degrees, and how we can use adjectives in different forms or in different contexts, and basing on the meaning of the sentences, right? And mainly for usual things we use the first form of the adjectives, positive form, and then when we compare two persons or two things, we use the comparative degree, like we add er and we use then. and sometimes we use IER if there is a word or adjective which ends with Y and the consonant is followed by it. And we also use the superlative degree which the, that means we use the article before the highest degree of the adjective, which is called the superlative degree of comparison of adjectives. So I think you have understood all these things, and I request all of you to please do all the activities at home one by one, and so that you can have a very good practice and you can use the adjectives accurately, appropriately, and you can improve your language, English language. You can use sweet and lucid language in English. Thank you very much. Goodbye.